hit that right now. So yeah, if you want to check out the show on YouTube, you guys know how YouTube works. You can only do like 15-minute clips at a time, so you just go to my YouTube channel, which is Charles Lampson's webcam video, and there's a lot of clips there from previous shows, and from me and Tony jamming and playing music and whatnot, and so yeah, check it out. The audio is it's also a nice way to listen to the show, because the audio, for some reason, YouTube's audio quality is way better than Blog Talk Radio's audio quality. I'm not quite sure what that's about, but hey, what can you do? All right. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about chaos magic some more tonight. I'm going to delve deeper into that topic and give out the call-in numbers. Yeah, we have two numbers. We have 636-946-3688, 636-946-3688, or you can call into this number here, 917-932-8806, 917-932-8806. Give us a call, be a part of the show, or come hang out with us in the chat room. We're hanging out at trueforchat.chattango.com, trueforchat.chattango.com. Yeah, a lot of cool people. Yeah, I got the snuffles again, but so bear with me. Please don't be too grossed out by me snorting snot all night long. And then I don't know. We might have a guest or two on later on the show. I really don't know. You never know with this wild, zany. You never know with my wild, zany, madcap antics what I'll do. But all right. Yeah. So I'd like to just get right into the topic, man. I found the topic really interesting last night, but yeah, the guests were even more interesting. Yeah, we had a really good discussion last night, and had a lot of fun. And yeah, thanks again, guys, for coming on the show. Chris, I don't want to forget anyone. So Chris Kemp, Cappy, we had Trite Static, we had Patrick Marsface. Shoot, I hope. Yeah, of course, we had Franco the Evil Socialist. We had Bryzer from Ireland. And sorry if I'm missing anyone, but I think that's it. But thanks, guys. Alright, so more about this zany chaos magic stuff. Yeah, as I mentioned last night, chaos magic, I mean, as far as occultism goes, or Western esotericism, or whatever you want to call it, goes, chaos magic is really a very new development. It sprung up in the 1970s, and I gave a definition of it last night, but I don't want to be redundant, but just to bring us up to speed with where we were yesterday. Yeah, I just barely got into it. So, the concept of the ego, the psychic structure of self-identifications, beliefs, desires, and personifications, is recognized as the basis of our psychocosm. A curious misconception has arisen that the ego is a barrier to magical development, that it is somehow to be taken down or destroyed before one can advance spiritually. To some, it seems that while Western development builds up the ego, Eastern approaches aim at ego transcendence. There is much discussion of the higher self, which appears after the ego has been transcended. This is a common theme in so-called New Age thought. The psyche, however, is not a static entity, and this kind of ego versus higher self thinking is a carryover of the rationalistic mind-body division. Attempts to get rid of the ego can easily result in one-sided development, fostering both self-importance and a holier-than-thou attitude. Avoiding the so-called dark aspect of human desire results in a shallow caricature of human potentiality. A blandness which avoids plumbing the depths of the psyche. Clarity of thought, insight, and struggle are glossed over with the sugar coating of bliss. To work with one's ego is to begin an inner alchemy, the aim of which is not to destroy or transcend it, but to move from a state of fixation, egocentric, to a condition of mutability, exocentric, which is capable of constant revision and change. This is what is meant by the phrase letting go, and of dissolving the idea of the mind as separate to the world. The ego remains as a point of I-ness, which gives meaning to experience, yet the contents of the psyche become much more fluid. In one sense, the ego, which roots us in space-time, the psychic equivalent of having a sense of place, of occupying a particular set of coordinates, the majority of our experience of reality is at the level of objects, bodies, and events that appear to be temporally separated. We experience ourselves as centers of will, perception, and ego. In contrast to the ego, the will displays a vector quality in that it has both direction and magnitude. The will is the wave to the ego's particle. Although we like to think of ourselves as centers of intentionality, much of our behavior is a result of vector resonance, waves rippling through, appearing in our space-time universe as separate events and synchronous experiences. A key to the appropriate magical stance is given by Crowley in his novel Moonchild. Here's a quote from that novel. "The clever man, so-called the man of talent, shuts out his genius by setting up his conscious will as a positive entity. The true man of genius deliberately subordinates himself, reduces himself to a negative, and allows his genius to play through him as it will. The thelemic concept of the realization of the true will necessitates an unfolding of awareness of the will as a vector quality. Will imposes organization, order out of the chaos of the normal. And the realization of true will involves an obedience to awareness of the evolutionary patterns which govern human development. Will is an emergent property of our interaction with the total environment. It cannot be isolated to any one element. Will, perception, and consciousness, we are immersed in them the way a fish is immersed in water. They are emergent properties of the total biosphere of Gaia. So much for theory. How is this alchemy accomplished? The key word is integration, dissolving the mind, body, spirit, matter fragmentation. Enter into a being in the now dance, immersed in the body of Gaia, within the universe. Will, on any level, is the organizing principle. Kundalini, Shakti, coiled, creates all forms. Therefore, 1. Invoke often, feeling all magical acts as a passage of will through you. 2. Attend to the continual reconstruction of your psychocosm through the examination of beliefs, desires, and attitudes. 3. Seek union with all that you have rejected. 4. Practice magic as though your very survival depended on it. 5. Forget everything you have been told about the world. Assume nothing and develop your own path. 6. Eat more donuts. Okay, let's see here. Sigils. Sigilization is a method by which a desire/intent is encoded in a non-obvious form, i.e. a glyph or picture, which does not immediately call to mind the original intent. Any magical intent can be written out, and the letters scrambled to form a picture, mantra, or a neologism, which can be repeated or concentrated upon until gnosis ensues. Alternatively, the sigil may be set aside until its original purpose is forgotten and then hurled. During gnosis, or times of great emotional feeling, the sigil may be drawn. visualized, or fiercely concentrated upon, to the exclusion of all else. This enables the so-called subconscious mind to reprogram reality in accordance with will. Once the sigil is cast, it is forgotten, so that the desire's realization is not hindered by lust of result. In other words, according to this magical thinking or whatever, I think, a common theme is, first you have to define what your goal is, then write it down, concentrate on it, visualize it, and then completely let it go to the universe, completely forget it. And then once that happens, according to, like magical theory or whatever, once you just completely let go and forget that you even once desired this thing, that's when the universe answers you and the thing pops up into your life, because you've let go of it and the universe has taken hold of it. Then it manifests, from the stuff I've read anyway about magical thinking. That's sort of how it works. The word, spoken or written, forms the majority of sigils. It is also worth experimenting with the keying of desires to specific smells, tastes, or sounds. Sigils can bring about a wide range of results, from the most abstract to the mundane, from altering dream content to habit and behavior reformation, and arranging fortuitous coincidences. I guess what's commonly nowadays called synchronicity. Sigils may be formed in this manner independently of any system of planetary or other symbols, and can be hurled forth without elaborate ritual. As a method of practical magic, it is simple and elegant. Its effectiveness can be discovered through personal experiment. Yeah, once again, I mean, when you study magic or occultism or whatever, this seems to be the difference between chaos magic and other mystery schools or Western esoteric schools, because they always warn about, no, don't partake in rituals, blah, 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 until, you're well-trained and well-read and you know what you're doing. Chaos magicians are more like, hey, jump right in. And, their philosophy is more like, the best way to learn how to swim is just to throw your ass in the deep end and either sink or swim. And so, once again, I don't know. I guess I'm pretty, I don't really have an opinion, honestly. I'm just delivering the news, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so deliberate magical duels between sorcerers are generally regarded as black magic by Westerners. Yet, magical combat can be an extremely powerful way of bringing a trainee magician to full operancy. Such tests of fitness can be found in the trials of Zen pupils under various masters. The shamanistic explorations of Carlos Castaneda or Lynn Andrews, and the legend of Nimue and Merlin. As part of an initiation, a candidate may be expected to defend a spot or object despite all the combined efforts of the group to flaunt her. Long-range magical attack may employ telepathic destructive impulses, projection of thought forms, or sympathetic or unsympathetic magic. Magical combat should be differentiated from psychic attack, with which a large proportion of fringe occultists concern themselves with, and is largely a product of self-delusion and varying degrees of megalomania. True magical combat has its own rules and boundaries, which are known to the skilled, while the trainee must quickly learn them if trauma is to be avoided. Caught up in a situation which he finds incomprehensible and alien, the trainee only knows confusion and terror. stripped of the smug self-assurance of "it can't happen to me," she